Welcome to episode 77 of the Brew Crew Scoop. Brandon Woodruff is returning for 2026, accept a qualifying offer, maybe called the Brewers' bluff, who
We will
knows?
never financially recover from this.
Freddy Peralta is still a Brewer for the moment. I think every day I feel like it may be slightly less likely than the day before that he will be a Brewer next year. Reports are that the Brewers are concerned about payroll, although the headline of the article that said they're concerned about payroll, I clicked on the article. It didn't have any specific mentions of that, so it seemed kind of like a clickbaity article.
Seemed
That
like
said,
Shams reporting on Giannis.
yeah. That said, I don't doubt that we're worried about payroll. So, feels like the Brewers kind of thought they were going to get a free draft pick with Woody walking out the door. And I'm actually surprised. I thought Woodruff was hoping to get a multi-year payday. But caveat there is just because he accepted the qualifying offer doesn't mean we couldn't extend him to a multi-year deal for less AAV. So but that's where the Brewers are at. Not a whole lot more moves. One minor one we'll talk about later. But yeah, the big talk right now at the winter meetings, Brewers wise, is will they trade Freddie? Will they trade Trevor McGill? Will they trade Nick Mears? Or none of the above? But the payroll got tighter since we last talked with Brandon Woodruff opting in for 22 million.
Yeah, not a ton, I feel like. I mean, obviously across baseball there's been a couple things that have fallen. But as Brewers fans, we're never really expecting to be in on a lot of those big free agents. So Pete Alonso to the Orioles doesn't mean much for us. We half swung big once with Reese Hoskins and doesn't seem like we'll be trying that again anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree with some of the stuff that we see, especially I saw the MLB trade rumors. It was an MLB trade rumor article that said that the Brewers are worried about payroll because of Brandon Woodruff, and it definitely seems a bit clickbaity. I know that the talk in baseball is basically like the owners are cheap. So I feel like anytime you can mention that a team is worried about, $8 million in Freddie Peralta or the fact that they extended the qualifying offer. They said this for the Cubs too and Shota that they like weren't expecting him to sign the qualifying offer or take it, I guess. So it just I don't believe that baseball front offices are run that inept and that you would offer something that you don't want taken, I guess. I see
I
that seems a bit odd to me.
I don't think they necessarily offer it not wanting it to be taken, but I think they figure the worst case is it's taken and they're okay with it, and the best case would have been they get the pick and they get the money back. So I don't think it's like I think it's like your opportunity cost is you lose more by doing nothing and just letting that asset go out the door. But in reality, you probably would have preferred to just have had the money and got the pick, but you would have been dumb to have it go for nothing. But I know what you're saying.
I don't know. I think it goes both ways. I think obviously it's a good thing that they get a draft pick if he doesn't, but also having Brandon Woodruff in your building is a positive in itself. And I feel like some people, especially in the Twitterverse, view that as a bad thing. And they think the Brewers front office is like, oh shit, Brandon Woodruff or is taking the qualifying offer. We're fucked. And we never thought this would happen. I just think that's a bad take, in my
I
opinion. I think the way you said it is a much more civil way of thinking about it. It can be good and it can be bad.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily they think, oh shit, but I do think that that deal means we have like no money to spend on anything else. But
Yeah, I don't know the numbers on Akil Baddoo, the newest Brewer just signed major league contract with an option year left. It sounds like. Um, Cole, we see Nori, we see him. I actually see him. But right before that, it was about 122 million was the projection. We have not often gone over that. Technically, the last 4 years we've ended the season slightly above that. So, but you got to factor in adding players. Another rumor that was floated out there yesterday. I don't know how serious it was. I didn't recognize the source's name, but
I saw in a
Travis
tweet that
Hudson.
guy's been to three winter meetings though, and he was
Hmm.
in Orlando this week. So I don't know if that
Well,
actually means he's dialed in, but
Travis Hudson says that the Brewers and Jordan Montgomery are in talks of a team-friendly one-year deal. I think we kind of speculated this last year. Obviously, we took on the money to make that deal work, but um, we speculated maybe he'll like it here. So the Brewers have been known to not that Jordan Montgomery was a bad pitcher, but he was an injured pitcher. We've been known to make good things happen with pitchers on comebacks. So
I would like that, honestly. I mean, it'll probably be something with a short, you know, short 1 year. Obviously, team friendly means very cheap, which is what we like. And maybe it's, I can't remember who they did this with. It might have been Wade Miley, where, you start 30 days in the minors or something, and there's a clause where if we don't bring you up, then you can get your outright release or something like that, where it gives him time to get game action. It's technically not a rehab stint, but you're in the minors, you're optioned, um, or it's a minor league deal because obviously you couldn't option him probably, but it starts out as a minor league deal, and if he isn't brought up by May 15th or something, then he can get his outright release. But when he's in the minor leagues, he's paid as if he's in the major leagues. Somebody would have to fact check me on that. But
I
I
think I
believe they
remember what
did
you're
that
talking about.
with Wade Miley or maybe somebody else that was injured or hadn't pitched in a while.
so obviously Montgomery was out for 2025, but 2024 was bad. But that was all like over half a season. But from 2021 to 2023, Jordan Montgomery made 94 starts over that 3 year stretch with the 9.1 WAR, but 524 innings covered, ERA plus of 120.
He's always got a
Um,
pretty solid whip. I
yeah,
feel like I
ERA
just
is
don't know how the recovery from the injury will be. I mean, that's always the wild card. That's why it would be 1 year and it would be cheap. So yeah, I
but
think you'd be dumb to be mad about it though.
if you do sign Jordan Montgomery and you have Woodruff and you have Mizorowski and who else
Well, you
all in that
forgot one
rotation?
pitcher we don't have. We still have.
Well, I forgot a lot of pitchers we still
Well, you
have.
didn't mention Freddy Peralta.
I'm getting there. I'm saying if you have all those guys, that's probably
Yeah, Chad Patrick, Logan
opens
Henderson, Tobias
opens the door for
Myers.
trading Freddie. Is
Yeah.
yeah. So and yeah, it makes sense. It honestly kind of I don't want to. I mean, I love Freddie, but I trust the Brewers front office. Honestly, it sucks that we're cheap, but they've obviously found ways to win anyways.
But I don't think the Freddie thing's necessarily even cheap. It's the
No, it's
fact that
not.
we own we have an asset that is affordable, so that helps other teams also value him highly, and we have him for 1 more year. So it's not just a money thing. It's just maximizing a hit. We hit on Freddie, we hit on the early extension, and especially the way we operate. But I mean, any team, if you have the tools and the players in the system to make up the ground you lose with that guy, you got to cash in. And some teams obviously don't, but the Brewers do have to cash in. So I love Freddie, and he's awesome. Um, but that's just at the end of the day, baseball's business to a point. You can't just keep all the players you love around. No team has ever really done that and been good, unless you're the Yankees in like the early 2000s, and it's because you also happen to be outspending everyone by a lot. So,
I
Um,
Before we move on, sorry, I'm a little late, but the way that we keep saying like it almost makes too much sense because we have so much pitching. I feel like I said this either last podcast or two podcasts ago. Like everybody was hurt at one point, and we were scratching for anything that would stick. I feel like you can never have too much pitching. The Dodgers were supposed to have the greatest rotation of all time,
yeah, but
and
we
then they were
could,
just out of guys. I mean,
yeah.
I know where you're coming from, but it's not like a foregone conclusion, in my opinion, that he should be gone because we have guys to replace him
No, I
that
think
may be just as good. I just would rather have so much pitching that, we don't have to throw somebody out there who doesn't know what they're doing,
I
I
agree.
guess.
No,
yeah, but
I
That's why
agree.
I'm
it's,
sure we'd only do it if we had like
Yeah,
enough guys, and
exactly.
then also like, who's to say Freddie's healthy the whole like, we maybe get rid of Freddie, then we take a 4 million Quintana type, a different Quintana this year. So you still have another MLB ready body. It's just not to the same caliber, but then you're also probably getting a young arm. You're also probably getting a corner. hopefully
Yeah,
infielder.
that's
But no, I obviously yes, Kian. There's a reason that good teams would be wanting to trade for him, and it's because you can never have enough good pitching. But you also, if you're the Brewers, just need to have as many good players as possible and try to keep this window open for more fun summers in Milwaukee.
I
I
agree. I'm not saying ship Freddie out for nothing. I just am confident that his market is going to be high enough that it would make sense to move him. Like, and I'm confident that the Brewers will make the right move.
What was that on Baseball is Dead the other day? I think they were kind of talking about that was
Oh
like
yeah, it was
the Perez, right?
Eduardo Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He started bringing up. Now he wasn't calling him Freddy Peralta. He was calling him like Johnny Peralta. So
he was
you
calling him
can
Johnny.
you can take that how you will. But it sounds like that's kind of the talk around the league. And as much as like Scooble might draw up a market, and who knows, if he doesn't, if Tigers make it clear too, he's not going to move. That is only going to boost the Freddie market. So
I think that if Freddie's going to go, it has to be before Scooble. And that's just because
yeah.
if Freddie could set the market for starting pitching this winter, I would be upset if they went and traded him after because you're
Well,
obviously just going to get whatever less. You're going to get
yes and
less
no though.
than Scooble is going
You
to
are
get.
always going to get a whole lot less than Scoobs, though. And then you got
You
to
don't
take it. But once Scooble's taken, then Freddie's really the only other ace available. Where now teams might not want to pay as much because they might still be saving for Scooble. Where if Scooble's off the market, there's still 20. Well, there's not 29 other teams, obviously. But out of the contenders, there's maybe five other teams that still want to win and still could. So I don't necessarily agree. But I definitely think they I don't know. They're similar markets, obviously. They're good starting pitchers, but like Skubal is a whole nother level, you know? So it's like comparable, but not.
I'm going to say
I-
something and I could sound really dumb, but I'm going to try my best. I think if Freddie goes first, it sets, the bar for what Scooball has to go for at least.
Well,
So if
yeah,
Freddie
but
goes first, if Scooble goes first, we're obviously just going to get less than whatever that was. There's no way we're going to get, a team's if
well,
he
we
goes
always
for a
were.
team's 2, 5, and 8. But Mason Miller went for like the third best like there was just
Yeah.
nothing out there until that point.
I don't know. I just think
It's
the
just like
market
if
for
he
Skubal's
goes
he's always
if
going to get a lot more. He's a multiple time Cy Young winner.
there is nothing right now out there for a starting pitcher. Like there has not been a trade yet. So I'm saying if Freddie goes first, we could set the bar as high as we want. But once Scooble goes, it's like, well, we might have been able to offer this, but Scooble only went for that. So now we wouldn't be willing to offer that because they're not the same caliber pitcher. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the way I look at it. So that's why I'd rather have him go first because then we set the market for what we want. And then Scooble goes way up, and that screws other teams.
I get where you're coming from. I think Scooble's going to go to the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers aren't looking to trade for Freddie Peralta. So honestly, in my head, I feel like it's two different markets right now. Um, but yeah, I get it. All right. I don't know if you guys want to talk about
Cole Phillips.
what'd you say?
Cole
Yeah.
Phillips? No, actually
Yeah.
though, he was like a hype prospect. It's just he's coming off injuries and stuff. But if the Brewers liked him, I like him. And at a time when he was originally drafted by what, the Braves or the Mariners? The
He was in
Mariners
the
drafted him and
Kelenic
traded to the
trade.
Braves. Yeah. Um, but he was a hyped up prospect, just coming off injuries and stuff. But we know now in baseball that as much as arm injuries are scary for pitchers, they're also like not. It seems like guys just bounce back eventually. So we'll have to see how that goes. But gained him and lost a bunch of guys in the AAA Rule 5. But most of the guys we lost weren't. There's a reason they were available in the AAA Rule 5. So keep on moving on.
It sucks. Like I said, it sucks that there's like these checks and balances in place
All right,
to
Trump. Checks and balances are good.
I
Okay.
can't. It sucks that they have a way to not let you stash your minor leagues, but when the Dodgers go spend 10 bajillion dollars, there's no repercussion really. It's just funny, and I actually do understand the Rule 5. It's not really
It's for the
about stashing
player.
minor leagues. It's about the players not getting stuck in the stash, is fair. like if other teams could use you, like I get it, but it just sucks that we do things the right way, maybe the cheap way, and we're so good at it, and it's almost like we get punished more than the Dodgers just writing blank checks. So, but yeah, I get it. And again, to your point, Cole, we're obviously protecting anyone that we're like pretty certain is going to be pretty good. It's not like, yeah, you get it. But speaking of America, Brice Turang, Team USA, that's pretty cool. That's a loaded lineup. We saw at the World Baseball Classic last time. It was starting to actually be like a fairly decent representation of the best players in the USA, not just like whoever will play. And now it really is this time around. Guys like Judge and is it Gunnar Henderson?
Yep.
And Cal
Bobby Witt.
Raleigh was on there. Skeens. So a lot of good players.
Yep.
I told my dad this, and I don't know if he listens anymore, but I was like, I hope Brice Turang makes his mark. I know Bronny's been in it, Lucroy's been in it, Devin Williams, but like no one's really, made their mark. They don't have their Adam Jones robbery catch. Or I think it would be really cool if like, every time the World Baseball Classic comes up, they show a highlight of like Brice Turang making some huge play up the middle or hitting up a huge homer. Like there's just not one Brewers guy that I think of. Obviously, I know all the players that have played, but none of those guys had huge moments. So I wish Brice the best, and it's pretty exciting now that we get to watch him and go USA, obviously.
Lucroy might be the most patriotic Brewer to play in the World Baseball Classic.
We saw when we were there, Cole and I in Phoenix a couple years ago, we saw Devin Williams, I believe, throw a nice clean inning. It was nice to see Devin Williams in a playoff atmosphere throw a clean inning.
I don't know if I'd call it a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah,
Beating Team Great Britain wasn't all too difficult.
yeah. New York Met. Someone needs to study why David Stearns and Craig Counsell are so obsessed with former Milwaukee Brewers pitchers. At least Devin Williams makes sense. He's obviously a good pitcher. Uh, Craig Counsell just signs up anyone the Brewers get
Oh,
rid of.
Hobie Milner's actually
I'm kidding. Hobie's not bad. It's just funny after Drew Pomeranz felt just Philip Rivers a career, and
he had
yeah,
8 kids. Is that he Philip
yeah.
Rivers?
That is
Philip
also
Rivers is
just
10.
absurd. Not to change the topic, but like I said on Twitter yesterday, like how funny would it be if like Prince Fielder just came and took played a series because we already had our playoff spot locked up. Like obviously that's not the case with the Colts, but you get what I'm saying. Like what if? Why
Dude loves
not?
ball.
So
What if instead his son just keeps rolling through the
he's
minor
still in the
league
org.
system? I think so. It's the off season, so he's not really playing.
Yeah.
I know he was tearing it up in the Arizona Complex League, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that is an offense dominated league.
So I don't know if you guys came with any other like realistic transactions of like they were predicting. I didn't really come up with the whole offseason plan since honestly we're a month in and Woody already happened. That was one of the big deals. But I do feel like my gut tells me that Freddie gets traded. And I do feel like
I think there's a chance Mears gets moved.
that's what I think.
He's got
Mears.
a couple. He's due at least, I don't know, over 1 million. But we again just seem to have a decent amount of pen arms we like, and always seem to hit on guys that maybe could be a little cheaper. And if there's truly a market for something of value, as much as I like Mears and he's been solid, I'm sure we wouldn't be opposed to letting him go. So yeah, I'd say those two are the guys that probably make the most sense. And then I'm just curious to see how ARB works for some of the dudes, especially like in Andrew Vaughn. Um, his value, I think, will be an interesting one to see uh, articulated in the arbitration court.
I didn't really come with any serious predictions. Obviously, it's tough to just straight up predict. There's 100 free agents. The Brewers will sign somebody in the 80 to 100 range, and there's a 25% chance they'll make the team. It'll probably be a catcher. Um, it's how they operate. It makes the offseason prediction process a little stale, but I mean, if they trade Freddie, I hope it's for somebody with a higher, um, like maybe a pitching needy team, offense heavy team. I don't know if one of those exists that's in a small market that wants to sell their high priced item. We give them Freddie Peralta. They also give us
Orioles.
a
We've
Yeah, I was
asked
gonna
they
them
say
also give
Baltimore
before.
us
comes to mind.
a prospect in return. That way, people can get off our ass about, oh, we can't afford $8 million.
Yeah, dude, people
No,
are
it's the
stupid.
asset management piece of it where we can leverage him to get somebody who might cost more. I know that blows people's minds, but he might cost more, but helps us in a better area of need because, like you guys said, we do have the pitching depth. That would be a move that I would agree with, kind of like the Nestor Cortez helped us, and then we also got a prospect in return, something like that, where it's not straight money prospects like everybody thinks it is. It might be we need offense in this position, maybe third base. Throw a lower level prospect in there, and you can have Freddy Peralta, and we'll take on your money. Um, I hope that's the deal if we do it, but honestly, I just hope we don't. Like I hope he stays. I have said a million times, I'm a huge advocate for Brewers who have been around longer than their 6 years of service time. Freddie Peralta signed a team friendly deal. I think he likes it here, and I appreciate that. And he's an energy guy. I said the same Willie Adames. I get it next year when he's a free agent and he goes signs for a ton of money, but I would just like him, and I think we're going to compete whether we trade him or not. I don't think our entire contention rides on this trade. So I would hope to see him stay and continue his rank up, the strikeout leaderboard, the wins leaderboard, the ERA leaderboard, innings pitched, stuff like that I crave as a stats guy. I think that's cool. And I've been saying it for 7 months now that I hope he stays. And then I guess my guess for other predictions is they sign some journeyman shortstop to a minor league deal, and he quote unquote competes
Tyro
with Joey
Estrada.
Ortiz in spring training, in which a competition that sad soul will never win because they will never give up on a controllable Joey Ortiz, but it's the competition aspect that they'll sign him for, and
I saw
they'll
Joey
probably be
Ortiz is
upfront about
back
that.
next year. Joey Ortiz is back. They fixed it.
I sent you guys the
I
swing
know.
mechanic coach that like broke it down into a million pieces. I was like, this was really impressive. Um, I hope maybe that landed in the Brewers' lap, and then they can at least tell him to try it out, see if it works in spring training. If it doesn't, then whatever, fuck it.
I wonder what Dustin May will go for. Super random, but I just saw him on here. He's a weird prospect considering, well, not prospect, but player, a free agent.
I also feel like this free agent pool is just it's kind of weak. Like in
Yeah.
terms of like middle tier that the Brewers would maybe go after for like a Lorenzo Cain type deal. There's not like there's the A group that was also kind of mid, but there isn't like that solid A B group that the Brewers would actually maybe be a part of.
I'm
Um,
still curious about the top though. I mean, there's some talent between Bregman, um, Tucker.
I mean, the A group is it's solid, but it doesn't have that like one superstar. It's like there's the AA or the AA,
Yeah.
and then the
I think
AB.
Tucker was supposed to kind of be the
I
AA,
agree. He
and
was
he
supposed
had
to
a
be, but
weird
he was
season.
hurt. Yeah, it's just odd. But he was supposed to be that big
And
fish,
Jesse Winker, of course.
which I
Frankie
guess
Montas is
honestly,
available.
if I'm a Cubs fan, I feel like I'm kind of happy that he didn't have a great season because now you might be able to get him for $50 million less.
Yeah, I'm really curious what he'll go for. Should the Brewers sign maybe Scherzer and Verlander? Bring back Greinke? That'd be pretty fucking sick.
Honestly, it probably sounds stupid, but it would be so cool to see like Verlander, Scherzer in Milwaukee. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Scherzer would be cool if you're like if he's okay with being like
Oh yeah.
a swing guy where hey you'll pitch out of the pen
As long as
in
you
Yeah.
don't
like a
have to pull
coach
him out of the
role,
game,
which I'm
then he's
sure he would
fine.
Yeah.
never. Yeah, he's not the type of guy who would want to do that, but would be cool.
Um, yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
Hassan Kim.
yeah, that would
I
work.
I
No,
said
I
that
think
I said that earlier. I like him a lot. I think he's good with the glove, and he played well down the stretch in Atlanta.
I think if
Yeah,
they
and he was,
trade, go ahead.
well, he just had a weird year too with injury and stuff too. I think he'll come back feeling a little more comfortable. And yeah, I mean, uh, he definitely could play. I think no matter what, we have to bring in like a okay utility guy. If it's him, Luis Renfigo,
Renhefo.
Renhefo. I think Ramon Urias is available. I'm sure his brother also is available after he didn't make it back to the Brewers Major League squad last year. So as someone like that, I think it would help to have just a vet utility and I don't know. I say that, but I guess Mona's good, so I don't know. We don't have like well, we have a hole, but we don't like the outfield. It doesn't really make sense to add anyone, especially now. And
We
there's
have
like okay pieces, but it just doesn't make sense.
we have probably two needs and one want. I'd say our two needs are a third baseman or a shortstop if we're going to shuffle things around, and we need a backup catcher probably unless Caro is majorly ready. And another want would be like a legit answer at first base. That's not an Andrew Vaughn, Jake Bauers platoon, but it was fine. Obviously, I feel like that's where we're at. The pitching is good. We have more than enough outfielders. Yelly's probably going to hog the DH spot most of the year. Obviously, second base is locked down. Starting catcher's locked down. That's pretty much where we're at.
It'd be
So we
interesting. When you were talking, it kind of reminded me. One other move would be outfielder if we move off of one, and who we choose to resign. But I think the Garrett Mitchell case is very interesting because when he plays, he's good, but he has to play, and we've found ways to get by without him at all. So I think that'll be interesting.
also I he has been good, but aren't there a lot of numbers out there
Yeah, he
saying
strikes
like
out a lot.
yeah, his like underlying metrics offensively are not really all that good. So
No
you
one's
know,
perfect, okay?
sure, but yeah, I don't know. I guess the other thing that I would like to see this offseason is I would like to see a Brice Turang extension. That would be super cool. That would I think inject a lot of fire into this city that lacks offseason moves.
To be so fair with you, when Cole sent his random anonymous Bryce into the group chat, I thought it was because he was getting an
Oh yeah,
extension. And I was
that
super
would have
hyped.
been.
And then, of course, since there's negative context in those texts, I then had to go scroll through 9 different apps to find what is
That's
Bryce
ridiculous.
Turang going on? What did he
Just just
do?
just
Did
touch
he?
X, type in Bryce Turang, and you will instantly know what it was about.
You could have said Bryce USA, and we all would have got
You
it.
would have been like, "Oh yeah, he's an American. I know, but I can't believe he signed all those American dollars in this
But Bryce
contract."
explanation point, I had to do my investigative work. Now my heart's pumping. Did we sign Bryce to a mega extension? That'd be great. I would love that. And then it
Well,
was like,
maybe I
oh,
just
Team
wanted to
USA,
get you
also
looking. Maybe
cool.
I wanted Coach Keane to maybe get on the horse and do some research.
What if I was in a really important meeting?
Well, then
And
it's
then
gonna
I
have to
just
wait,
was
pal.
like, well, now I don't even know. Now my mind is somewhere else instead of just being able to be like, oh, yep, Bryce Turang, Team USA, boom. Sorry. The listeners don't care, but I'm saying a Bryce Turang extension would be cool.
Or
Yeah,
Sal. Sal
or
works
so.
too.
I think
And
Bryce is just better long term, in my
he
opinion. I
is.
I
think
don't
he's
know if
got a
he is
better
even necessary.
offensive profile.
Those
Yeah,
are the
but
two
the
guys you build around right now. Or well, not obviously Churio, but the two extra guys that you add in to build around right now. It's
I
Sal
think
and Bryce.
the two Sal just he'd be for less. So I think that's part of what Scoop's saying. Like obviously for the same amount of money you would do Bryce, but I think Sal's more affordable. So yeah, like yes, he's more affordable because Bryce should be better long term. So I agree to that point. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously we're fine going into the off season. That's why it's weird. Like there's a kind of hole, but we got through last year with that hole. So we just have to sit back and take it as fans, see what happens with Freddie.
I also would say that uh, they're probably both unlikely, but I'm just a fan of both of them. The Rangers non-tendered, I was talking about Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim, and obviously we don't need an outfielder, but Adolis is just cool. And even though he had a bad year, I still think he's a guy who would just come hit home runs for us and be awesome.
Him and Eric
And Jonah
Thames could
Heim,
do some features together or something.
yeah. And Jonah Heim, apparently he's not the greatest defender. I admittedly don't watch his defensive highlights very often, but as a cheap backup catcher, it'd be a nice backup bat to have. But yeah, those are guys I wouldn't mind us sniffing around, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Uh, the last most important thing I have on my
It's Jeff
list
Kent.
is these goddamn powder blue jerseys with no powder blue pants. I will die on this hill. This is ridiculous. What was the point of making powder? I also don't know if it's replacing the gray jerseys
I think
or
I,
the navy jerseys
I think I saw they're
or
gonna be like a regular jersey though.
yeah, but I think it's replacing one of the two. Either way, what a miss to not have powder blue pants, and I am gonna tweet about it every day until they fix it because it's pointless. It looks stupid. Pissed me
Every
off.
time a Brewers account tweets powder, I think of a Hall of Fame brewer. He enjoyed the powder a little bit. I always
Mm.
hear the rumors, but won't bring it up. Allegedly. Yeah,
They were all doing it in the 80s.
it sucks, but it is what it is. It is funny though that like from the second it got released, I think Coach Keane texted about. I didn't know what he was talking about because he didn't give enough context. He just was like, "What about the pants?" I was like, well, "What about pants?" But anyways, um, everyone was just like, "They're not wearing those gray pants, are they? What about the light blue pants?" So
Yeah, literally
yeah,
everyone.
it's a movement.
Also, the jerseys are, I'm not gonna complain about the jerseys themselves, but like I think all they had to do was just make them look exactly like the old ones. They didn't need to make the like gray ones blue, what like the old ones from the 80s. That's all everyone wanted. It's just weird how teams, it feels like there's a disconnect between there's somewhere between teams and fans sometimes. It's like if you would have polled the season ticket holders, I bet, and had three options. You either go exactly back to the Potter Blues from the 80s, you keep the current grays, or you do a new blue top with gray pants. I guarantee 85% of season ticket holders would have said go back to the uniforms from the 80s, like old and young people. So it's like crazy the disconnect sometimes. Not just uniforms, but with a lot of things.
Our jerseys from the last, like when was that? 20.
No, 2020. I love
Yeah,
them. I love
they're
all
they're
uniforms, to be
good
honest.
uniforms, but
Yeah, no, for sure. I do. But yeah, the blue on gray, wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I don't. I'm indifferent. I hated how they didn't do the Brew Crew. I
scoop the
don't
Brew
like
Crew
it.
scoop
I didn't
jerseys.
like it, to be honest with you. I still don't like it, but the reason that I'm saying I'm indifferent is because when they came out with the Brew Crew City Connect ones and they were wearing them with the white pants, I was like, oh, that just looks weird. And then it grew on me, and I don't know. Maybe these won't, but that's why I'm hesitant. I got to see it in the game. Ask me again in June. Um, but I do think the jerseys are sick. Like even though they literally just replaced the color of the gray jersey and kept everything the same, I think it's still cool. It's a cool concept. I wish they just would have done it in 2020. Um, but anything to sell a couple more jerseys. Hey, let's go with the grays for five, and we'll go with the light blues, powder blues for five, and then we'll mix it up again. But
I still like them for sure. I still like them definitely. Um,
Uh,
I mean, I'm gonna buy one, so like
oh yeah.
it
Well, and I'm gonna
worked.
wear powder blue pants to the game, and they're gonna see how stupid they look compared to me.
I can't believe we used our ugliest player to demo the jerseys, though.
Yeah.
He's beautiful.
I got a
Stop.
lot of comments. I said initial thoughts, and people were like, "He's ugly." And I'm like, I meant on the jersey. Thanks. And then I put that one guy into checkmate. I said, "Oh, who's the hottest player then?" And he didn't respond.
Easy answer. It's got to be Sal, right?
Yeah, it's definitely Sal, 100%.
Yeah. I think the one other guy I guess we didn't talk about is Ashby, just because there's a good amount of money in him for like keep it solid, but I know you don't trust him because you don't trust
I
hard throwing lefties. So
I can't stand Ashby. I'm not gonna lie.
come on, he's
He
our
bought.
playoff starter.
Yeah, I mean it's not his
Five
fault he started
times.
every playoff game, but
I am indifferent on Ashby. I've always rooted for him. I thought, whenever the Brewers sign a guy to a contract, I think it's kind of cool, like a multi-year deal. I think it's pretty cool. So I always root for those guys again because of the stat thing. But I tweeted this out earlier in the year, last year in like May. I was like, Aaron Ashby would be the greatest pitcher in Major League Baseball if he could just throw fucking strikes. Like he throws so many uncompetitive pitches, and it's obviously because his stuff has so much movement that it's just incredibly hard to locate. But at some point, and it did, it'll bite you in the ass because at some point you're going to have to throw that straight 97. And if we were there, say a Suzuki took him 450 and dented a bar in the Miller Lite landing. I mean, it's just at some point you have to find a happy medium. And obviously, the Brewers are always going to go throw as hard as you can with as much movement, and we'll take the consequences. But hopefully he works out. Hopefully he can be a high leverage reliever again. And then I believe this is the last year of his deal,
I
unless
think
I'm
he's got one
incorrect.
more.
So two,
Yeah, I think
okay.
it's two.
But I don't think that if they ever do try to move him back to a starting role, I think that's a mistake. I think his location problems are fine in a bullpen role, but like a seventh inning, sixth, seventh inning guy for him. would be perfect.
I mean, he was objectively solid. Our whole bullpen was solid. Anyone that was on our playoff roster and in the bullpen, whether they performed or not in the playoffs is one thing, but they were all really good throughout the regular season. So, um, yeah, I don't definitely not opposed to keeping him around just when it's around that $6 million mark for him, considering whether we love our current payroll or not. I think anyone that makes more than $1 million is probably gets a deeper dive, deeper look than the other guys. But um, yeah, I don't know. I like him more than Scoop, that's for sure. I can see the jealousy in Scoop's eyes.
I like Ashby too, don't get me wrong. I didn't say a lot of good things about him, but he strikes a ton of dudes out
I don't
He's
and he gets
actually.
nasty.
soft contact.
No,
I
you
don't
hate him,
actually
Scoop. You
hate
hate
Ashby.
him.
I
You
hate the
hate him. He stole your
concept of
spot on the
Ashby.
Brewers.
I hate the concept of Ashby. He's just it's like the stuff is so good and he signed this deal that should be awesome and he shows little flashes of it, but it just pisses me off. That's what makes me mad. My hopes are too high for him is the problem. That's the issue. He's a perfectly fine leverage reliever with really good stuff. But my hopes were like number two in the rotation.
What about
So
I
number
don't even
one,
think,
two, and three in the playoff rotation?
looking back at it though, like I don't think that the way he pitches now would have worked as a starter anyways. I think that was a miss by the Brewers. Like just his profile as a pitcher just wouldn't work. Now, obviously he's different because of the injuries and stuff, but
I'm gonna be
like I
keeping a
just can't,
very close eye on the junior Chinooks next year, buddy. Your player evaluation better be spot on.
we are a hybrid between rec and travel, so we're in this for fun, don't forget.
Fun
Uh
summers? Fun summers?
Fun summers.
Hell
The
yeah.
Milwaukee Brewers and the Junior Chinooks Baseball Club are the same entity, just without the playoff success.
Got any closers, Scoop?
uh we got less than a minute. I was gonna say Akil Baddoo. I saw him in 2021. Thought he was toolsy. Had an okay rookie year. He has not had any good good offensive stats since. I'm gonna look up his defense. I've seen some defensive highlights, but
Did he win a Gold Glove in 2021 or
I
2022?
don't think he has a Gold Glove. I don't think so. Let me
I don't know
check.
why I thought he had,
Let
but
me fact check
I
that.
remember
But
his 2021, like the first 2 months when he was like a Rule 5 draft pick. I remember watching, I think it was the Tigers home opener, and his parents were there, and he hit like 2 home runs or so. Dude had like a Sal Frelick debut at home against the Tigers, and it was just, or with the Tigers, and it was great. So,
all right, go Brewers.
go Brewers.
Oh, Chinooks.